Good morning, North Jersey. It's Thursday, May 28th, and we're bringing you the news that you need to know right now. So, as the state continues to ease restrictions due to the coronavirus, the New Jersey Department of Education released new guidelines on in-person graduation ceremonies beginning July 6th. But before we talk about graduations, a group of advocates for prison inmates are asking New Jersey's top judges to possibly allow more inmates to go home. Now, this comes after a report showing state prisons have the highest rate of COVID-19 deaths in the nation. Now, here to talk about what advocates want is our own reporter, Stacey Barchenger. How are you, Stacey?
Hey, good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So we're hearing a lot from the state, and we're hoping you can break it down for us and tell us what advocates are proposing.
Sure. So yesterday, this sort of interesting thing happened where a group of lawyers for the ACLU and the state public defender appeared in virtual court before the state Supreme Court. That is a Zoom meeting where they all got together. And they argued that the Supreme Court should intervene in a process to allow more prison inmates to go home. Just by way of background, they had actually asked for this back in April, and it was similar to they were asking the court to do something similar to what it had done for local jail inmates, which let about 700 people go home. That was kind of delayed because the governor created a process by executive order for some people to go home from prisons. But these advocates are really saying that that hasn't been acted on. We learned yesterday just slightly more than 300 inmates have gone home, and that's less than 2% of the population. So these advocates are really worried that people who are susceptible to the virus are staying in custody where they're not being protected, and they want the Supreme Court to intervene and send people home.
So we've been seeing a lot of, these coronavirus cases, especially in prisons. Now, on the state level, there's obviously a lot of backlog on different fronts, but has the Department of Correction come up with any plan to alleviate health concerns inside these prisons?
Yeah, and that was laid out in some court documents that I reviewed, to report on this story. They have given inmates masks. They are doing more cleaning. They have implemented widespread testing. Governor Phil Murphy and the health commissioner have said that vulnerable populations will be targeted for testing, and prison inmates, because of the close quarters and limited access to healthcare, are identified as one of those populations. So as of yesterday, about 60% of all inmates had been tested for the coronavirus. About 1,500 of them did test positive, and 700 employees in the system also tested positive.
Got it. Stacey, thank you so much for breaking down this for us. I know there's a lot going on, and we'll hear more about this from you in the coming days. Thanks.
Of course, thank you.
Now, folks, New Jersey drivers, listen up. Toll prices are going up. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority unanimously approved a plan to raise tolls on the Turnpike and Garden State Parkway. So here to tell us how much change we need to have in our car is our reporter, Terrence McDonald. Good morning, Terrence. How are you?
Good, Jessie. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. So please tell us a little bit about these toll hikes and how much change I need to have in my car now.
Okay, more. So on the Parkway, the tolls are going up. So those long stretches of toll plazas at like Asbury and Union, they're going up from $150 to $190. And off ramps, which right now cost you between 50 cents and $1.50, are going up to 65 cents to $1.90, depending on where you are. Over at the Turnpike, basically, to drive the whole stretch of the Turnpike right now costs you about $14, and starting September 13th, when these toll hikes go into effect, it's going to cost you almost $19.
That's great. It's just a little bit more different than what we've been seeing right now. Now, I was reading your story, and it seemed like there was opposition during the meeting. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened in the meeting and what folks were saying?
Yes. So because of coronavirus, this wasn't an in-person hearing. It was a conference call, and it went on for about 3 hours. And there was a lot of opposition. You know what? The public speakers broke down sort of evenly between people who support the plan, largely union officials who said, this is a perfect time to do public works projects. It'll help the economy, and we need to repair our infrastructure. And the other half were a lot of people who were like, I really want to help our infrastructure, but I'm out of a job, or my spouse is out of a job, and this is a really bad time, and the state isn't letting a lot of people work, so this isn't really the greatest time to make us pay more to drive these roads.
Got it. And so it was an hours-long meeting. We heard from different perspectives. Now, all this is going to different infrastructure projects and to help roads, pretty much.
Yes. So the Turnpike Authority says that this is going to raise about $24 billion they have a $24 billion capital projects plan over the next roughly 10 years. And one of the major parts of that is to widen long stretches of the Turnpike, largely in the south, and sections of the Parkway starting at about Wall up to about Paramus. And some environmental groups and progressive groups are against that, saying that widening the roadways is just going to attract more drivers, create more congestion, and create more air pollution.
Got it. All right, so there it is, folks. We need to have more change in our cars. Prices are going up for those tolls. Now, Terrence, before we let you go, we're going to switch some gears here and let's talk about graduation ceremonies. That was another big announcement from Murphy this week. We heard in-person graduation ceremonies can take place starting July 6th. We got some guidelines for schools. What do those guidelines say, Terrence?
So the guidelines are sort of surprising because they don't really offer a lot of detail. I think that one of the things that's important about the guidelines that the state issued last night, telling colleges, high schools, and middle schools how they can proceed with in-person graduations, is that it's going to make them a lot more difficult for them to proceed. They have to submit their plans to, or at least certify to the state that the ceremonies are going to adhere to social distancing guidelines. But, you know, school officials aren't really event planners. And so these graduation ceremonies now are going to involve a lot more planning. They're going to be told that they have to keep everybody 6 feet apart, of course. They're going to be told that the stage has to have people 6 feet apart. Speakers and musicians can't share microphones. That if they're going to let people use the restrooms, that they have to have staff near the restrooms to make sure that people aren't congregating. They're going to have staff at the entrances and exits to make sure people aren't congregating. They're going to have to stagger times when people are coming in, and it's still sort of unclear how many people can be at the ceremonies, because the guidelines say that they can only have the number of people that social distancing guidelines on that day allow for, but we don't know what that is. Right now, Murphy has said that crowds outside can't be larger than 25. We don't know what that number is going to be in 2 weeks. Is it going to be 30 or 50 or 60? If it's still 25, it sounds sort of unrealistic to hold any kind of realistic graduation ceremony.
Right, I hear you. Again, those guidelines are very vague, folks, and there's a lot of different options and a couple more weeks until July 6th till we see those ceremonies. Terrence, thank you so much for breaking all of this down for us. We will catch more of your reporting later today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jessie.
Folks, we have more on NorthJersey.com, and we'll have more after Murphy's 1 p.m. coronavirus press briefing. Now, let's switch some gears. Let's talk about some feel-good news. So it's National Hamburger Day. Happy National Hamburger Day. Yes, it's a thing. Now, to celebrate the day, consider stopping by the Fireplace in Paramus. And it just reopened its doors last month. Now, the Fireplace is a Bergen County staple, and we talked to them and caught up with them this week. So here's a look into their operations.
We're down, 45, 50%, but we're encouraged by what's going on with our customers. We have the drive-through that they can just come up and order and drive down to the other entrance and get their order. We have curbside where they call ahead, and when they arrive, they call they've arrived. They're parked over in the curbside delivery area, and we bring it out to them. We just can't wait for in dining. A lot of people do want to eat in here, and we're very optimistic. It seems to be going and building each and every day. It could be a home run for us. We want to make a great first impression to our customers, let them know that it's going to go smoothly without problems, and so that they're happy to come back again. We're overstaffed, but we're paying our people. They're off unemployment. We're helping the state. We're collecting sales tax. So that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we're doing. But hopefully the country comes out of this. We want everyone to survive, all the businesses, and everything to thrive again.
All right. Now, before you head off to enjoy your burger, let's talk drinks, because it's 9:30 in the morning, but we all need a drink. So get ready to sit back and enjoy a nice cocktail later on today with our very own Rebecca King. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you?
Good morning, Jessie. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So tonight you have something very exciting happening. Tell us what is happening at 5 p.m. today.
Yes, so it's 5 p.m. today on the North Jersey Facebook. We are going to have our happy hour live. We've been hosting it every Thursday at 5 p.m., right when people want to drink. Right when they need some creativity to get them through their Zoom happy hours that we know they're going to have later on in the week, Fridays and Saturdays. So this week we are having Liz Johnson and Ed Forbes, who are both senior directors at northjersey.com. Typically we have a cocktail expert or a mixologist from a bar come in, but this week we thought we'd mix it up a little bit. And honestly, Liz and Ed know more about cocktails than anybody I've ever met. So trust me, this is definitely a week to tune in.
Awesome. It is an important one to tune in tonight. Now, if folks want to prepare prior to happy hour, can they find the ingredients somewhere?
Sure. They can find the ingredients online at northjersey.com. There's going to be a story about this happy hour. Also, I can let you know right now that Liz Johnson is going to be making a spicy margarita. So you're going to need some tequila. You're going to need some jalapenos, some triple sec, some lime, and actually some grapefruit. That's what she has in store for us. So that's going to be delicious. And you know what? If you don't have all of the ingredients, if you don't want to run out to the store, because obviously we understand that during this time, I always ask for substitutions. We always make it really accessible. So if people don't necessarily have one thing in their pantry, they can mix it up.
Yum. Very excited. I will be there at 5. I hope all of you at home will be there as well. Rebecca, thank you so much. And folks,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Make sure to catch Rebecca's Happy Hour live today at 5 p.m. right here on Facebook. Again, thank you, Rebecca. Now, folks, the news, it doesn't stop here. You can head over to northjersey.com to find the latest news throughout the day. Now, if you have any news to share in your area, feel free to comment down below, reach out to us on Twitter or also on Instagram. Now, before we let you go, we're going to leave you with some footage of Randy Jackson riding his bike as a sort of therapy during the coronavirus. Folks, I'm Jessie Gomez. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.
Everybody's getting on a bike and they're riding right now, and that's a beautiful thing to see. For me, I've been able to get on a bike, ride by myself, and it really is excellent therapy. It's great therapy, in fact. The benefit of low vehicular traffic's been a boon for being able to cycle right now. I can't even recall being beeped at by a car in the last 6 or 7 weeks. It just hasn't happened. It just feels safer. It's hard for me to put into words. People seem to understand that we are all vulnerable, and we seem to be respecting each other just a little bit more as a result.